Honorable Oppong Nkrumah.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I rise to second the motion that the House adopts this report from your Committee on the Economy and Development. Speaker, let me start by making the point that this is the first and the only policy document that the government has submitted to this House, apart from the economic policy that is done for the years gone by. And Mr. Speaker, you will recall that we have on occasion requested that government presents its program documents to this House over and over again. Indeed, on the day that it was laid, the leader of government business acknowledged that we have asked over and over again. We want to encourage the government to please bring all of the other policy documents because we are almost 2 years into their administration. Mr. Speaker, the promise of the 24-hour economy was clear. 1, 3, 3. One job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Mr. Speaker, this government is almost 2 years in office. And in these 2 years, they have appropriated about 650 billion Ghana cedis. That's what this House has appropriated for government to work with. Almost 2 years on, you cannot find one government agency that is applying 1, 3, 3. For all the stories that we were told, for all the analogies that were given, 2 years on, after appropriating about 650 billion Ghana cedis, you cannot find one agency that is operating 133. Mr. Speaker, that is the biggest testimony of the fact that this entire 24-hour economy program that was so well marketed and all the issues that were raised about it, at the end of the day, it is not delivering on what it was promised. Mr. Speaker, as we went through the policy document and looked out for what the next steps were, we were told to look out for 2 specific things. One is a 24-hour economy market. 24-hour economy market. That's what we are now being told to look out for. And 2 is a list of incentives which will incentivize the private sector to start operating the 133 shift. I want to speak quickly to these 2 things that at the end of the day we are now being asked to look forward to. Because, Mr. Speaker, you will recall that the bill that was passed did not provide for all of the items in the shift that were spoken about. So now we are told to look out for these 2 things. Mr. Speaker, there are markets in this country, in many of these districts, that do not operate 24 hours. In fact, even for those traditional markets, they have to wait for what you often call a market day. Now, the government is going to spend tens of millions of Ghana cedis on building new 24-hour markets with the expectation that nothing new having been done in the economy, just the mere creation of these markets will now cause people to buy and sell in them for 24 hours. Mr. Speaker, we are of the view that it is not a prudent policy measure. That if you want to achieve 133, building 24-hour markets is what will deliver 133. In many of these places, in my district, in Ayeka where this market is being built, there's already a market that has been constructed which doesn't work for 24 hours. There's a market that has been constructed, like in many of our villages, which has to wait for 1 week, 1 day in the week to function. What is the reason for which we believe that if we spend more money to build a new market, it will now function 24 hours? It beggars belief. Mr. Speaker, now on the question of incentives, again, almost 2 years into this government's tenure, the answer we were given is that they are now working on incentives. It betrays the priorities of this administration, Mr. Speaker, because already you have worked on tribunals bill that you have brought, because it's very important to you. Already, Mr. Speaker, you have removed the Chief Justice, because it's very important to you. But when it comes to the incentives that will now allow the private sector to possibly even work for 24 hours, assuming your model will work, the government tells us when we go for committee meeting that they are now working on those incentives. Mr. Speaker, we think it betrays their priorities, and we think that they need to speed up if indeed some incentives will be brought which will give life to the 24-hour economy. Because, Mr. Speaker, now what is at stake is that they have removed a policy measure, the 1 district, 1 factory policy. and have replaced it with this 24-hour economy policy. Mr. Speaker, the National Development Planning Commission of the Republic of Ghana reports in the annual progress report for 2024, which was published in June 2025, that there were 150 one district, one factories operating. It's not my report, it's the NDPC's report. Earlier today, the chief whip was suggesting that somebody has not read. I don't want to say that those who are surprised may not have seen the report. It's in the report. The NDPC report says at least 150 of the 1D1Fs were functioning as at the end of 2024. The policy architecture in place that would have given birth to a lot more has been removed. And now we are replacing it with a 24-hour economy policy, which is now, we are told, hinged on a 24-hour economy, market, and incentives that are yet to be birthed. Mr. Speaker, as we support the motion that this House should adopt this report, our recommendation, our advice includes the fact that this administration should go back to the 1D1F program. Go back to that program. And if you have specific issues that you think you can amend in that program, correct it. Because 2 years after you took away that program, your replacement program is not delivering any new factories, is not delivering your 24-hour economy, is not delivering your 1-3-3 shift as you promised. And Mr. Speaker, every day that we stay without an industrial program of this nature, which will incentivize the private sector to create more factories and create more jobs, every one of those days, the opportunity cost is hundreds of thousands of young Ghanaians who are sitting at home without jobs. The last time we shared with you the data on youth unemployment. The source is the Statistical Service of the Republic of Ghana, which says that youth unemployment is now at 32.4%. You asked me for the source, I've given you. Every day we stay without an industrial policy, that we have suspended 1D1F, and we are waiting for 24-hour economy, the youth are out there without jobs. And so, Mr. Speaker, I conclude by saying, while we support the report to be approved by this House, our recommendation is that go back to the 1D1F. And if there are specifics that you want to correct in it, correct it, because that policy at least was helping to ensure that these factories were being created. Within that policy architecture, Mr. Speaker, you will recall, incentives were given to automobile companies to locally assemble cars. You have suspended all of those as part of the reset. And today, the automotive companies are complaining that the incentive is gone. So we encourage you, go back to it, correct whatever errors you think you may find. But to suspend it while we are now going to build markets is not in the best interest of the Ghanaian economy. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.